Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome once again to NoDQ&A video, right here on NoDQ.com, of course, and the YouTube channel, youtube.com/NoDQCAW. The road to WWE SummerSlam 2013 is underway, coming off Monday Night Raw this week. Got a lot of questions here, so let's get right down to it. First one today comes from WWE Fan 5. Hey Aaron, what did you think of Raw? I thought it was one of the best Raws of this year, and Chris Jericho versus RVD is my perfect matches. They're both two of my favorites of all time. So it was great to see them in a match, and what a match it was. Yeah, I thought that Monday Night Raw this week was one of the best shows of the year, no doubt about it. And on the NoDQ.com poll, over 94% gave Raw thumbs up this week, which is one of the highest thumbs up results ever for a poll on NoDQ.com for Raw. So that's tremendous. And I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that WWE really built up the main events for SummerSlam strongly. First, the match with John Cena and Daniel Bryan, and then the segment with Paul Heyman and CM Punk, and then Brock Lesnar coming out. And just a lot of good matches on the show, too. I mean, there were several matches, and they were all given a good amount of time, at least two segments on the show, with a commercial break in between. And with Chris Jericho and RVD, they actually got three segments. So they got a lot of time to have a really good TV match. So, just solid wrestling and building up the next pay-per-view. So, I mean, you really can't ask for more. All right, this one comes from Jay Sanford16. Hey Aaron, now that we're on the road to SummerSlam and what you've seen so far from tonight's Raw, do you think that this year's summer blockbuster will be better than ever? Well, this year's SummerSlam definitely has a lot of potential to be a great show, and I don't want to get my hopes up too much because, to be honest, I've been to all four SummerSlams in Los Angeles, and I will be at SummerSlam again this year at Staples Center, and, I was disappointed with all the SummerSlams. I thought that all the shows could have been better. And, going in, I think I will have high hopes for this one, and this could potentially be the best SummerSlam since WWE started doing it in Los Angeles. So time will tell. CM Punk and Brock Lesnar, based on what I saw from Raw, the interaction between the two of them, the brawl they had, I think that match could be really good. I think that they have a chemistry together, and definitely the build-up will be very strong for that match. So it's all a matter of will the actual match deliver, and I think it will. I think it will be very intense. And as far as Daniel Bryan versus John Cena, I liked how they set it up. John Cena picking Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan is the guy he feels is the best in the company, and going with the fans' pick. All the fans clearly want to see Daniel Bryan in the main event at SummerSlam, and that's what's been rumored now for the past couple months, that Bryan would be in the WWE title match. So, the fans are happy about that. I'm happy about that. Now the question is, what happens with this match? What's going to be the outcome? Will Daniel Bryan actually defeat John Cena and win the WWE title, which is what I think a lot of the fans would like to see. Time will tell. I mean, if Cena beats him, I could see a lot of people being let down by that. I really feel Daniel Bryan should win the title at SummerSlam, but we'll talk more about that as the SummerSlam pay-per-view draws closer. And the whole situation with Randy Orton too. I mean, Daniel Bryan could beat Cena, and then Randy Orton could cash in Money in the Bank, and I don't know if a lot of people would be happy with that. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, definitely SummerSlam this year is shaping up to be a really strong card. I mean, there's still several matches yet to be announced, but they're already starting to build for several matches, and the SummerSlam card should really completely fill up in the next week or two, and it should be one of the best SummerSlam cards in several years. All right, next question here. With Daniel Bryan versus John Cena for the WWE Championship being official for SummerSlam, I do not like the idea of the Bellas being involved in what could be a great feud. I feel like they would only be involved to hype Total Divas and less for story progression. Your thoughts? Well, you have to keep in mind they still have about 4 weeks left to build up the pay-per-view, so you got to have something in between, and it could work, and it could possibly hurt the match. So I mean, time will tell. WWE's really pushing this Total Divas show very hard, and they may try to bring the Bellas in and try to play off the real life relationships, with John Cena and Daniel Bryan dating the Bella twins in real life, and putting that into a storyline, and I don't know if it's a good idea or not. I mean, once again, it's all a matter of how it plays out and how the fans react to it. I mean, I think it would be better to just let them straight up have a match and not have some sort of crazy soap opera storyline. But it's WWE, and they're over the top, and they're also, like you said, trying to promote their new show. So I mean, it could work and it could flop. I guess it's another situation where we'll just have to wait and see what happens with it. All right, this one comes from Alex Draven. What's up, Aaron? If Chris Benoit was still around, do you think he would have eventually challenged the Undertaker's streak, and do you think it would have been a good match? Please answer in video. Well, if it ever happened, it would have certainly been a tremendous match, one of the best Undertaker matches at WrestleMania. I mean, I have no doubt about that. But the thing about Chris Benoit is that he was starting to wind down his career, and he was going to carry ECW, and some people at the time saw that as a demotion. But I think WWE had gotten past the point of pushing Chris Benoit in the main events, and he was already getting up there age wise, and I don't know if they were going to push him at that top main event level again and put him in a key position against somebody like Undertaker at WrestleMania. I think that it would have been unlikely that we would have seen Benoit versus Undertaker. All right, this one comes from New Heyman Guy 3. Hey Aaron, big fan and love the show. What are your thoughts on the way Batista responded to the rumors of a WWE return? And do you think there's any chance for him to return? Please answer in video if possible. Well, it seems like every 6 months or so, these Batista rumors start up again, and I've found it to be funny. Batista, made it clear he hasn't talked to Triple H, and he's not coming back anytime in the near future. And I think that if Batista decides to come back to WWE at some point, he won't acknowledge any rumors. It'll be a surprise. The fact that he's coming out and saying he's not appearing, I think he's serious about it. I don't think he's trying to work the fans or whatever. And I don't see him coming back anytime in the immediate future. But I certainly think that at some point he will consider coming back and doing a part-time role, similar to Chris Jericho or RVD. He's only got so many years left that he can come in and make the big money in WWE. And, I think it would be hard to resist a chance to have a couple more big-time WrestleMania matches and get those big paydays against maybe Brock Lesnar or, any number of people, CM Punk. So I think it will just come down to the right timing for Batista coming back when he can make the most impact and make a good amount of money and get a good deal for himself. But it would not surprise me to see him come back at some point down the line. But I think right now, you have so many people in the mix: Brock Lesnar, RVD, Daniel Bryan's being pushed hard. I don't think now is the right time for Batista to come back. So if I was him, I would just wait it out. All right, this one comes from WWE RVD. Hey Aaron, big fan of yours anyways. Do you think that Cody Rhodes is going to face Damien Sandow at SummerSlam for the Money in the Bank briefcase? Please answer in video. I don't know if the briefcase is going to be on the line, but that's something that's been rumored. But I definitely see Cody Rhodes versus Damien Sandow at SummerSlam. That seems like an obvious match. And I really liked the segment with them on Raw with Cody Rhodes coming out and beating down Damien Sandow. And, fans are really behind Cody now. And, I think that this face turn could be the beginning of bigger things for him. And like I mentioned in the previous video, I really felt that he was the star of that Money in the Bank match. And I think that if anybody gained from that match, it was Cody Rhodes. So, his future is looking really bright right now. And, that should be a great undercard match for the SummerSlam pay-per-view. And like I said earlier, the whole card, from top to bottom, could end up being one of the best SummerSlam cards in years from WWE. All right, this one comes from Dean Ambrose Mark. Hey Aaron, I love your videos and I wanted to ask you about Del Rio's heel turn. What do you make of it? Personally, I really don't like it. He had a small face turn, which was something fresh for him, but then he went right back to his stale old gimmick. Well, I do not believe that his face turn was a success, and I think WWE felt that way as well, and that's why they turned him back so quickly. WWE botched this from the get-go. They turned him babyface, and then a week later, he runs down Santa Claus and is a heel facing John Cena. I mean, they dropped the ball right from the start. They tried to save face by having him win the world title like a couple weeks after that and build him up, with the Hispanic demographic. But it didn't work. I mean, Del Rio, he just has this cocky attitude, and I think he plays the heel role a lot better than a babyface role. I just feel that that's what he's fit to do. He's the Mexican aristocrat, and it was just weird having him as a babyface. We all know his character is this rich guy, and you just naturally want to boo somebody like that. So I think that it was worth a shot trying to turn him face, but it just didn't pan out in my opinion, and I think he's in a better role right now. And a lot of the time when he was in there with somebody like Dolph Ziggler, even when he was a babyface, the people were booing him. So the people want to boo him, so keep him as a heel for now. All right, this one comes from Big Papa Gazan. Do you see the possibility of a Curtis Axel and Brock Lesnar versus CM Punk and Daniel Bryan tag match? It would be a win-win situation. Axel gets the rub, advance the Lesnar-Punk feud, and Bryan and Punk on the same team, which would make the IWC mark out in their pants. Your thoughts? It would be a good idea on paper, but the problem is that Brock Lesnar is working a part-time deal with WWE, and he's only working a limited number of dates. And they're only having him wrestle on pay-per-view in one-on-one matches. That's where they can get the most value out of him. So I think it's highly unlikely we will see any kind of Brock Lesnar tag match or any kind of Brock Lesnar match on free television. I think the chances are literally slim to none. I would be shocked if he wrestled on free TV or if he wrestled in a tag match situation. All right, that'll do it for this edition of No DQ&A video. Thanks as always for watching. Subscribe, youtube.com/NoDQCAW, and stay tuned to NoDQ.com for the very latest regarding SummerSlam. I will be there at Staples Center to cover the event for NoDQ.com, so follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/NoDQDOTCOM. The link is in the description box on YouTube, and I will see you guys next time for more No DQ&A video.